Midlife Badassery podcast, take 2. Here we go again, you guys. I recorded an entire podcast. I think Mercury must still be in retrograde or something. I don't know where it is. We're going to go again because this is game-changing shit I have to share with you this week. You guys, when things are going so well, like you're on the edge of something really good, and then somehow mysteriously you F it up. You know what I mean, right? It's finally working, the weight's dropping, the money's coming in, life is clicking. And then out of nowhere, you get sick or you pick a fight or you eat everything in sight and you just stop feeling the radiance and feeling so good. This isn't our crap luck. It's not weakness. It's not us being broken. This is an upper limit. And today we're going to talk about why we do this in our bodies, bank accounts, our entire lives. Spoiler alert, you guys, it's all the same stuff. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a few things to put in place for yourself so you can come into this next version of yourself too. The first thing I want to share with you guys is something you will hear about. And anytime someone talks about upper limiting, they're going to bring up this book and this guy. If you have not read The Big Leap yet by Hendricks, this is a staple in the self-help world. He talks about that all of our issues growing in life go back to this one problem, to the upper limit problem, that we all have this internal thermostat about how much good we're allowed to experience. Like our bodies are keeping us there. Joy, success, love, money, health, there's a ceiling. And when we start to get close to it, when things are going too well, our subconscious wants to bring you back into this space of safety. You've got that little amygdala in there, the fight or flight stuff going nuts, trying to just keep you safe, keep you from being eaten by the lion, but there's no lion anymore. He calls these our upper limiting behavior. The pick and fights when things are good, getting sick before a big opportunity. This happened to me. My business was rocking, and all of a sudden I got really sick. And I just let go of everything. It shifted everything I decided to create in the world. But how much of that was upper limit and me not being ready to move and expand to another level to hold the capacity for that. So this time out, I've really been seeking to expand that capacity because I know I upper limit. I see myself upper limiting all the time. These upper limiting behaviors, this is not character flaws, right? They're not weaknesses. You're not broken. Well, I want to share this with you guys this week because I've been doing a lot of work around abundance in my upper limiting and my thoughts around money, which oddly enough all goes back to health somehow. But I've been doing this work, right? And reprogramming through my body and my nervous system as well. Since leaving my 9 to 5, I've gone to the marketplace for health insurance. I have this really expensive medication for inflammation and eczema, and it's like $5,600 a month. I did a ton of research to make sure I had a plan that was solid enough, robust enough that it was going to be able to cover this medication. I get to my new insurance provider, and every doctor I'm seeing is like, oh, you have to go through all these hoops. You got to get them with dermatology. It's not to the end of May. So I'm just manifesting. I'm like, I got this. The universe has got me. This is all going to work out for my highest and best self. And I manifest a doctor's appointment Monday morning. I got the best dermatologist. She was awesome. She didn't make me jump through any hoops. She basically gave me the prescription right away. And you're supposed to go through all these other treatments, but I've already done them for years. And she was awesome, right? I'm like, this is great. Everything's going wonderful. And so I get down to the pharmacy and she says, is this your first time taking this medication? I said, no, I've been on it for about a year now. So I'm familiar with how to do it. It's an injection pen and I don't need the pharmacist, whatever. And she looks at me, she goes, but do you know how much it costs? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, it's $1,200 today for your copay. And mind you, this is monthly, right? And I'm like, well, I think, what are my options here? Okay, let me go call member services. And like my heart sank and and I was sort of like in my brain, wait for the other shoe to drop. Everything was great. And then like I've just had this feeling about this insurance this whole time. Well, I get in the car and I'm calling member services and basically there's nothing they can do for me. There's like a aid you can fill out for, but I know I'm not going to qualify for that. And I'm like, I just started crying. And I'm in the parking lot, exiting the parking garage, just like that See, I knew it was going to work, that kind of thing, right? Just weeping. It's been a journey with my face. Like it was really uncomfortable, you know? I let that happen for like 30 seconds. I'm so proud of myself, you guys, because this would have been a spiral down like, oh, F it mode. Like, I'm just going to go, let me just go eat all the things. I'm going to curl up, watch some Netflix, eat, drink, whatever, anything to not feel this discomfort about, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do about this. And instead, I was like, you know what? The universe, this is all for your highest and best good, Ad. Like, if you don't get this medication, this is just the universe telling you you're supposed to be doing something else. This is going to lead you on a different path. So stay open for those opportunities, but you need to be in that vibration for those opportunities. Like, I'm having this conversation in my head with myself, but when you're in the moment, it feels hard and icky, right? And I couldn't quite get rid of the ick. Like, mentally, I'm telling myself this. So I put on this playlist. If you don't have a playlist like this, you guys, you need one. If you want mine, let me know. I'll send it to you. It's just like a feel good, hype you up. It's got like Abel Hart. It's got some Imagine Dragons and some Pink and just like all kinds of stuff, like kind of pump you up, make you feel good and empowered music. And Abel Hart, he's like, I'm a magnet. I attract it. Like, I don't know, just kind of goofy, fun, high frequency music. So I put this on and it took me all the way home, which was like 30 minutes to get that fight or flight response out of my body, that response in my body that wanted me to just say F everything and go curl up. And this is the work, you guys. This is how you move through the limits, right? Every time you make a change like that, you get closer and closer to it not even being a situation where you just believe everything is for your highest and best self. That's like where I'm looking to shift all of it. I feel like I did so much of this work around food and to add the work in around abundance, about around business and finances, and just know that when I'm in a vibration of joy and gratitude and love, things just I'm a magnet. I attract it, right? Like, but how do you become that person that's a magnet when things feel really hard? And this is the work. This is the work of choosing to do the more uncomfortable thing to come out the other side. It would have felt initially better to just go eat a bunch of sugar. My brain would have really liked that. But the long-term outcome of putting on an upbeat playlist or meditating or tapping or doing something, like the long-term growth of that is true transformation, is change. This isn't like through willpower, right? It's not through forcing it. It's what it looks like when you've done enough of this identity work. Like, who do I want to become and how does she react to things? When we get this deep in it, that we can like start to see it in action and we can catch, hey, that's not Slayer. Slayer wouldn't do that. Dr. Jason Fung came in my newsfeed again. It's been a while since I've spoken about him, but he's the first person I really heard talk about insulin response and fasting. One of the concepts he shares is the body set point, that your body has a weight it considers home and very comfortable. If you've been on a weight loss journey, you've probably noticed when your body you feel really comfortable around a certain area. I know for me, it's Wonderland. Like 199, I feel really comfortable. And on my way down from where I'm at now, 260 and 220 are like my body loves those weights for whatever. And I'll dance around those a little bit longer than the whole rest of the journey. Now that I'm saying that out loud, how much of that's mental shit, right? So watch me on this quest when we hit those and you guys can say, hey, Ad, you said that this was going to be a thing. So, you're knowing this and you're probably sabotaging yourself. Like there's something within me that is like stuck at those points. So speaking of which, I found this one of when I was like probably down under 190. I was probably like 180 something. And I'm 5'9", just to give you guys a reference. I look pretty freaking good at 180. I'm like super skinny. And I had found like this Weight Watchers book. And I was like, look what I found, you guys. This whole book, I stayed around 260. And I think it's just really interesting, right? So Dr. Fung talks about this. And when you try to force your way through it, when you try to overcome this with just willpower and restriction, and I'm going to get there. And, your body fights back. It slows your metabolism. It cranks up your hunger hormones. It makes it harder for you to get into insulin and fat burning, cortisol. You become obsessed with food. He talks about all of these things happening as you're messing with this body set point, and because it wants to keep you there. This is where he comes in alignment with what we're talking about with Gay Hendricks and the upper limiting. He talks about it not being fixed, right? It can shift, but it's not through white knuckling it or you just getting below it. It's through changing your internal environment, addressing these hormones, reducing inflammation, giving your body a rest. The body set point and the psychological upper limit, they're doing the same thing, right? They're keeping you in this place. Hey, I'm good here. I'm safe here. It feels good. It doesn't know you don't feel safe because your knees hurt. Your brain's like, "Oh, we're safe. It feels good. We're getting all the sugar." Right? Like, it just doesn't know. I'm doing some rewiring with one of my coaches, Jenny Vestel, and she uses a lot of technique, the tapping, emotional freedom technique. She does this crisscross applesauce where you're taking your body and you cross it over and it's hitting different parts of your brain to help rewire the left side to the right side. And so we're not just thinking about changing our thoughts here, which is very life coaching world. Your thoughts create your feelings and your actions and therefore your results, right? This is adding in, okay, we can also not just change our thought about it, but how do we rewire that programming that is set within our body? And bringing that physical body into the regulation through hitting these meridian points that neutralize that fight or flight response in our body, essentially. It can look like something like playing music and uplifting your mood as much as it can look like maybe I'm tapping on a meridian point because I'm so friggin' uncomfortable and gonna come out of my skin. This is kind of body driven too. I want to tell you about my friend came to visit last weekend and we went downtown Honolulu. We had this Airbnb and my daughter went with me. I knew it was going to be a weekend of just shenanigans. We're going to go play, we're going to eat, we're going to drink, like live it up, right? So I was already planning out ahead of time because obviously I'm on this weight loss quest and I'm slaying it again. And it was easy for me to slip back in this pocket. And one of these things I do is I'm thinking ahead and I'm very intentional. When I weigh in on Friday live on YouTube, I go and I'm strategizing the next week ahead. I knew that I had this weekend coming up that I wanted to eat some things I probably wouldn't eat if I'm like on this big, huge, like quest, right? But what am I going to do to balance that out and fully enjoy myself? So I decided I could eat whatever I want, whenever I want, but I needed to be hungry. There were a few times they ate and I didn't eat, and it actually didn't bother me. And this is when I realized, oh my God, maybe the flour and sugar is out because that's the only time I ever feel in control around food like that is when the flour and sugar isn't coursing through my body. Then it becomes like I'm not there to think about that. And I really had my mindset also in the place where I was just so there for the people. I think that's like when you're thinking ahead about how I'm showing up somewhere and what does that look like. So I go and I eat all the things, you guys. JJ Dolan's Pizza, Cocoa Puffs at Liliha Bakery. If you ever come to Oahu in Hawaii, go to Liliha Bakery. Like you can't go wrong. But I chose things like I got protein there instead of pancakes, right? I did a lot of balancing while we were out, but I ate really well and I drank really well. And when I got home Monday, I was 279. So it was a good 5-pounder weekend, right? But I also was expecting that and anticipating it. I did not plan on my eczema flared up, whether it was inflammation from food and everything I was drinking or the place we were staying. Unsure, didn't matter. I was still experiencing it and it's very uncomfortable. It's all over my face. So I made that decision. I was like, what if we focus today on reducing this inflammation instead of powering through everything I felt like I had to do for work that day because I didn't work all weekend? What if I did the bare minimum and I allowed myself to just rest and breathe all day? And I'm going to extend my fast so I can really flush this inflammation out, just let myself sleep. I did some meditation meditation. I read my book and watched Netflix and fasted all day. I let it just be a really easy, beautiful day. And I woke up and my skin inflammation was reduced. I could feel that layer of flubber melt off my body from the gluten and cheese and whatever else. And I was back down. I lost like 5 pounds over that one day, just getting that crap off my body. When you get into a fast like that, it resets your dopamine receptors. You can go into autophagy and your cells die off and start to rebuild themselves. So you rejuvenate. And I'm like, you can't tell me that's bad for my skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do that all day long when we're seeing that inflammation. And to finally feel like I'm in the place where I feel so good to be able to focus on me again is just, I'm just so grateful, you guys. I just, there was a time last year where it was about 7 months worth of me just getting out of bed and it was all I could do to get to work. I just felt so uncomfortable. My skin was peeling off my body and I was unhappy with the work I was doing and not living my purpose. And just allowing that story to override everything in my life. And so I'm been really doing that work to rewrite that story too, because I'm so grateful for that time that I got to find out all about this toxicity in my body and mold and all of that. I didn't know this whole journey led me to that point to understand what was really internally going on. If it wasn't apparent and all over my face, I wouldn't have been doing something about it, right? I would have just been going on. Old Addie, who would have thought she had to white knuckle through everything she had to do that day and probably would have still been inflamed, still uncomfortable, versus allowing myself to rest and trusting that I've got this, that the universe has got my back, so to speak. That's all coming for its greatest and highest good. This is what I think shifting the set point actually looks like. Not white knuckling the shit, not the willpower, like the exact opposite. Just resting, regulating your nervous system, reducing inflammation, trusting yourself that if you rest and care for yourself, whatever you do seeking for you and to help and heal yourself, is not selfish. Putting yourself first isn't selfish. Again, I talk about this all the time. Women I coach that are like, yeah, I have surgery, but you know what? I'm kind of excited to lay around for a few weeks and be waited on or not have to do shit. Like rewiring that process, right? What does it look like to be regulated, rested, in alignment, living our day-to-day lives? And this is the overcoming these upper limits. And so we talked about the psychological and the physical, right? Gay Hendricks, Dr. Jason Fung, and how I've been working on money with my life coach, Ginny. I follow this woman, Jamie C is her name, SCA, like the C. And she talks about wealth and upper limits. Her challenge came across my feed and I thought, well, perfect timing. And I was in like even the first day, and she's talking about how the brain works and how we want to transform and we want to increase our capacity, our wealth container to hold more. If your brain is in fight or flight constantly, you're not able to rewire those thoughts. So you've got to regulate yourself to introduce new beliefs because we have this underlying belief system. It's a whole nother video itself that I'm not even going to get into right now. But it's the same thing, being able to transcend to the next level. Because she talks about how we can have and hold the same amount of money. Like, let's say, hypothetically, you're used to having 10K in your bank account and you get $50,000 all of a sudden. Somehow you're going to spend or make your way or shit'll happen to where you have 10 grand. Right? Then it's a different vibration, right? Something you're different you haven't yet believed. And the money is just the data of that. And I thought, oh my God, this is just like the weight, like the scale just being the data. And I'm so disassociated from the scale now as far as emotions go. Like I don't get on it and beat myself up and stuff like that. But with money, I have a lot of emotions attached to it. And I thought, my gosh, of course, it's just data. I mean, that seems so friggin' obvious. You guys are probably like rolling your eyes. Well, no shit, Slayer. I know, it's just data. It just directs me where I want to go, but what's holding you back from that next level or that next limit? So anyhow, you guys, whether it's conscious or not, we have these thoughts, these limits, and think about yours, right? So as you're going through this and you're thinking about what am I upper limiting? I think one of the biggest things we can do is to future self dream. This is why I do so much identity work. Like, where is it you want to go? And seeing, okay, this is what I'd like to be. This is where I am now. And what are my beliefs right now? Because if you believed what this version of you over here does, this future self version, you'd already be there. So we don't yet believe it. So what are we not believing? Where is the brain holding us back, trying to keep us safe? And then once we find that out, then we just move ourselves through the process. And this gets faster and faster, and we can increase our timeline and we can get there even faster. Right? So you have a few different set points to look for. You're looking for the psychological one. Am I allowing myself to feel enough joy? Do you see yourself sabotaging it to not judge yourself, but open yourself to reflection? What about your body set point? Are you at that place where your hormones are like, whoa, keep us here. We got to be safe here. How do you get to that next level without forcing yourself there? What does it look like when you take care of your needs instead of just pushing through it? And I'm such a pusher. My alter ego name was Slayer. She slayed the goals, made all the goals and like pushed through them. And now my alter ego GPT is like, hey, you got to stay. You're the steadfast Slayer. You're the one that, like, this version of you stays in it. She stays in it until it changes you. And this is what this is, transcending your upper limits, staying in it until it changes you. How fast can you switch that vibration from feeling like shit into this new version of yourself? And the more you practice being her, when you're not in that future self, you can get there even quicker. Body, mind, money, same pattern, same solution. You cannot upper limit in one area without it really affecting the other areas. And kind of like they're all hand in hand because it's all about your nervous system and they're connected. It's raising that thermostat and maybe even creating the thermostat. Sometimes we forgot how to dream for ourselves. We don't even know what we want anymore. So I always start there. Like, hey, what do you even want? You don't know what to transcend. Or you can see an upper limit, but if you don't know where you want to be on the other side of it, it can be hard to get yourself there. So where do you want to go? And then how do you become her that has more capacity to feel in every area of her life? It's so different as we evolve throughout our lives and throughout different periods in our lives. If you're watching, please subscribe, follow along. I'm working on my vlog for YouTube. My gosh, because I really want to share through my experience of living, kind of like I do here on the podcast, but I want it to be a little more story driven. And I just think that is fun. So I'm going to throw my hat in on that and still do my podcast and weigh in live every Friday, of course. But please subscribe, follow along. And if you're listening on the regular podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope to see you guys in the school group doing the work with me. And until next week, Slayer.